Hey guys, welcome back to another video here at TrendFX. I know it's been a while since we've uploaded any videos here to the channel, and that's really my fault, my bad. I'm trying to get back into the groove of making these contents for you guys, the few people that do watch these videos and find them helpful when it comes to their trading experience and understanding how to trade the financial markets. Right, so we're back more than better. I'm going to try to be consistent, keep on the consistency with these uploading videos every Sundays as well as Mondays. We'll be having live sessions at 5 p.m. looking at the markets after the start of the week to see what potential trade setups that we could find, what's going on in the markets, what's buzzing around in terms of the fundamentals, also sentimental and technical setups that we do see. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we're just going to do some chart analysis, preparing for this upcoming week. And we do have a lot of things taking place this week, right? If we just take a look here at the economic calendar, and I use my FX book here, just to see some of the news events that we do have up and coming. As you can see, for Monday, we do have some ECB news, right? We have ECB Guaido's speech. So this is marked as a high impact news. So what potentially is said here could actually affect the euro currency, right? And looking at the Europeans, we can see overall there have been sort of wayward but more bullish coming to the ending of this week, and overall we could see that we did have some bullish momentum, right? Looking here at the 4 hour and even at the daily chart, we could see that we did have some bullish push to the upside, right? On Euro GBP, looking at Euro CAD, Euro AD as well, and the big boy itself, right? Cross pair Euro USD. We can see that price did come down here, and this is because of CPI data that we did have for the US dollar. So we saw some USD shrink, and now price is just in this sort of a range right here, right? This daily 4 hourly range. So we could potentially see the price go up or down depending on what we do have coming out, right? And we do have some other major news events coming out. We have inflation for the CAD, right? CPI trade mean data, as well as looking even further for Wednesday. We do have Fed interest rate decision, right? And we do expect a increase of around 0.75% from the Fed. And also we do also have some more interest rate decision from the GBP, right? The British pound, and also jobless claims and more USD news here for this week coming, right? So looking at the charts, how can we translate this data to potential trade setups that we could find, right? And something that I like to do, guys, is start with the daily chart. Always start with the daily chart, and let's get back to the groove of this. Starting with the daily chart, analyzing the trends that we do see, and then we go down to the 4 hourly and the 1 hourly, and we could see potential trade setups where price may come into area of support or resistance, where price may either hold or break past, and potential trade setups that we could get into for intraday trading, right? So looking here at the 80 CAD, and I'm actually interested in a lot of the CAD cross pairs because, as you can see, for the first set of meetings that we do have, the major news events on Tuesday, we do have a lot of CAD news coming up, right? Overall, the CAD has been one of the more performing economies always, but we did have some information coming out again with the US dollar really impacting a lot of these currency cross pairs, right? As you know, the US dollar is one of the reserve pairs of the world, one of the reserve currency of the world, sorry. So what happens with the US dollar, what happens with the US economy does have an impact overall on all the other economies as well, right? And lately, what we did have happening is CPI data being a lot more, well, not by an extreme amount, but it was higher than the expected and the previous. Therefore, we saw price rally on the US dollar, as you can see on some of the pairs here, looking at the daily, and if you look on the 1 hourly, you'll be able to see this more clearly. We saw this extreme drop in price right here, right? And this was by 115 pips. If we look at the other USD cross pairs, we can see that we saw that across the board, right? Price just dropped extremely right there. And this again has to do with CPI data coming out higher than expected. Mind you, not by an extreme amount, but this higher than expected CPI data didn't mean that we could probably see a more of a stronghold, more of a heavy hand from the Fed when it comes to increasing their interest rates and whatever policies that they do need to implement in order to curb inflation, right? So we could see more of a hawkish Fed. And this is what this bearish candle is based upon. What we could expect to see happen in the future, making the USD more attractive to investors, right? And that's where we started seeing some USD more bullishness coming to the ending of last week, right? So you can see price really moved here on GBP USD as well, all the way down to 360 pips, right? So we did have some extreme moves from the US dollar. Looking into this week, what we could expect to see at the interest rate decision on Wednesday, we could expect to see a bullish move on price in favor of the US dollar, just because we do have an expectancy of a 0.75% increase on price, right? Also, we could expect to see even a higher interest rate decision when that news event does come out, right? The Fed is very hawkish at this point when it comes to increasing their interest rates, doing what they need to do to bring inflation back down into cautionary levels, right? But yeah, going back to the charts, what we could see here on an AD card, we do have some RBA minutes as well. Looking overall, what we could see here from the daily is this sort of steady downtrend right here. And we're looking at the recent price movement, right? We're not going to go all the way back here, but we could see that overall we have been seeing some downtrending movement, right? Looking right here, we could see that price did form this sort of a support that price rejected from. We came back into this trend line area right here, where we had multiple rejections from the past. If we're looking here back on the 4-hour, we could see that, okay, we are in a sort of a range, right? We could say that we are forming a downtrend right now, and that we have entered a sort of a range right now, right? Again, this is a 4-hour chart, so each candle does represent 4 hours of market movement within the forex market. And looking down at the 1 hour, what we could expect to see is possibly a continuation to the downside here on price. So we could expect to see price come back into this area of support. And let's just draw that up a little bit more clearly right here. Right, we could expect to see price come back into this area of support, and maybe we could break this support area and continue to the downside with the overall movement. Who knows? But this is something that I'll be looking forward to possibly seeing play out. If we could get price come back into this area right here, and that would be the third retest or the fourth retest of that time, then we could possibly see a continuation move to the downside, especially coming closer to that interest rate decision from the Fed for the US dollar. As you can see right here by the movement, the AD CAD and AD USD, and a lot of the USD and CAD cross pairs are moving in tandem with each other, right? They are going hand into hand with the sort of market movement that we are getting when we do look at these cross pairs, right? So EuroCAD as well, we can see that price came down here. Euro USD, we can see that sort of same movement. If we're looking at GBP CAD, we can see that initial spike to the downside, right? As well as the GBP USD as well, right? Mind you, not as perfect, but we are seeing some sort of correlation between the two, right? So that is something I'll be looking forward to possibly seeing happening if we do actually see price kind of come back into this area right here, right, where we have this initial pull up. We could possibly get into a trade right into this zone right here, right? So we could possibly see price come back here, becoming a trading level, and look to target back down into this support area, right? Overall, we are looking to actually see some more USD bullishness. So a lot of these risk on currency assets such as the AD and NZD could possibly show some signs of reversal or weakening. Looking at AD CHF back to the daily level, and I'm only interested right now in looking at the AD and probably the euro cross pairs, because the AD has been given a lot of better market movement, especially for me with my risk management strategy and my trading strategy. It has been given a lot better movement than the other currencies cross pairs. As you could tell right now, the markets have been kind of a rough wave to surf at this moment, with all the different news that we do have coming up. And we have been living in a very, very historical time, right? With COVID happening from late 2019, basically taking away 2 years of everyone's lives from 2020 all the way to the opening of 2022, where things started to get kind of better. We also have recently with Queen's death and a lot of changes in terms of the regime and other things that happen, such as the Russia-China war and this high inflation that we are seeing globally. So we have been living in a very impactful time. And this has also translated into the markets, but mind you, more chaotic, right? So these are things that I think should be noted as well, right? Especially when it comes to your trading. So personally, for me, I had to slow down a little bit in terms of trades that I would have been able to take before. I can't really take them necessarily now because the trends aren't really trending per se, right? We would have one or two trends, but then areas of entry, stuff like that, just aren't at the key points that I would look for those entries or feel comfortable risking my money and actually paying it on the line to trade, right? So this has been one of those times where you have to be more patient with yourself and allowing your strategy to come and bear, fruition for you rather than chasing after a particular trade or looking for trade setups just because you haven't traded in a week or maybe 2 weeks have passed and you just got one good setup that worked out for you. That one good setup worked out, right? And that one good setup made you money, right? It might not be the amount that you wanted. However, it has been something, that was good for you and your trading, right? So keep focusing, um, keep sticking to your strategy, whatever, strategy you have for yourself and your risk management is. Don't get upset by the fact that maybe you took one trade for the week compared to, the time. So you've taken 5 or more trades and it would have worked out in your favor or not. Just because, the markets have been sort of, not necessarily the best place right now for a lot of traders, especially trend followers, right? Looking at ADCHF, we do see, right, this lovely trend, talking about trends, right? We do see this lovely trend on ADCHF. So on the daily, what I would like to note right here is this area that price pushed past, right? So as you can see right here, we did have all this noise, right? And this is July, August month. We did have a lot of noise right here, price just bouncing up and down into these areas, in this zone, right? And we had a break of this zone to the downside right here, indicating more bearishness when it comes to this pair, right? And I'll just like to highlight this area. Just like to highlight this area right here as a notable area right here, right? So price did come down. We did break here on these lows, right? With a strong bearish candle, retested that and came even lower, right around this area of rejection. As you can see on the close of Friday, we did come here and we rejected from that area. Now, right now, what we're looking for is either are we going to get a continuation of this move to the downside with the overall trend that we are seeing right now, or is price going to respect this area that it has been since December 20th of December 2021, right? Is price going to respect this area and push back up? Like I said, with the upcoming news events that we do have, such as the USD, it's good to note some of these fundamental impactful news that's coming out, right? And that would have a effect on the currency and price action. Looking at it, I would look more for sell side shorts on this particular pair, especially with that USD news coming up, right? When we do have strong USD US dollar news, it does influence these risk assets such as the AD, CAD, and the NZD. All of them, they would experience some sort of sell side, right? Some sell side momentum, and this would actually be affected over across, multiple cross pairs, So looking at that and noting that with the overall trend that we are seeing right now after price pull past this area, what I look for is possible areas of retest. Now, this is an area right here where price made this bearish engulfing candle and pushed down from. Again, we did retest into that low and price rejected from it on the close. However, going into this week, we could possibly see price come back into this area right here, reject, and actually continue that downside. Now, if we do get a break to the downside right around here, then yes, I'll be more certain, I think that would be more reasonable to enter a sell once price does break this area right there, because now you can confirm that, okay, sellers are still putting pressure into this market, and we could probably see some sell side opportunity, maybe for 1 to 2, 1 to 3, depending on what your risk to reward ratio, risk to reward is per trade for yourself, and you know how much pips are you willing to put on the line, right? In terms of your stop size, your stop loss amount. Um, but looking at it, yeah, I think this is something that's more probable to actually happen, especially with the news coming up, right? So if we do see some sort of rejection from here, we could even see price actually pull past here, right? And get a deeper retest of this level before that continuation moving down, right? So this is something that could happen. It could go either way. So reject right from this area on market open, and we get that continuation to the downside, or price pulls up, and then on the day itself of that news event, we actually see that drop on price, right? So this is something that can happen either ways. But overall, I think AED-CHF would give a good opportunity for some sell side momentum either way you take it, right? So AED-CHF definitely on the watch list for possible trade setups. 80 JPY, not necessarily the best pair to look at right now, especially for me. Overall, we have been in a very deep uptrend. However, I like to just note the current areas that we are seeing, right, and the current market price action, right? We did have price coming to this overall high here and then rejecting, coming back down. And as you can see, we were following this very steep uptrend, right? Overall, we were looking for a possible rejection at some point. Price would have tanked out and come back to the downside and possibly make a sort of support. If I were to enter this trade, I would say I would rather see maybe price come past this area right here, right? And then look for a continuation moving up. But with all the different news that we are going to have this week, I'd say this is more of a risky play, especially when it comes to the JPY strength at this moment. So I would stay away from the AD JPY for now. AD USD, one of the risk currency pairs that we are looking at, one of the main pairs that we are looking at here. Overall, if we're looking at the daily chart, we can see that price did come into this area of support after experiencing again that CPI data that we did have the 13th of September, right? We saw that strong reaction to the CPI data, making investors more heavily invested on the US dollar, because now they're expecting the Fed to come out with more of a hawkish stance on interest rates and the overall direction of the US dollar, right? Going into this week again, we are expecting that interest rate increase. So overall, the dollar itself is looking heavily bullish. So I wouldn't look to take buys just because of this technical level right here, where price rejected once. That doesn't necessarily have to happen again. And looking at the overall trend, we are seeing that we were following sort of a downtrend channel, right? So we do have sort of a channel going downwards here. So noting that, I would like to see where price is going to head right from this area. If we do get a rejection from this area continuing upwards, then I would still look and possibly hold for areas where I could potentially sell, maybe at the high where this initial rejection did happen on the CPI data, or if we could actually continue downwards, right? If we could actually see price just push past this level again, once again, and if we could go lower, then possibly around here. So if price push past down here, and if we could go lower into this area, possibly around here, then this might be a potential area you could sell from, right? So something like this potentially has, and it has potential to play out something like this, especially with that interest rate decision coming up. We should see a lot of bullishness for the US dollar, right? And that's it that I'm looking at, guys. I'm not looking at all these other currency pairs. I'm really sticking to one or two pairs with the more trending nature to it. And that being the AD cross pairs for now, right? As things continue and go along, we should see, more trends emerging and stuff like that, more clear directions for these economies and their currencies. But for now, the AD has been one of the more, predictable movers for me with my trading strategy that I implement for myself. Right. So that's it for this, guys. If you found this informative, then leave a like, share the video, leave a like, comment in the description what you want to see next, and moving forward, I will try to upload more videos like this. Again, with the analysis, we try to do live streams every Wednesdays and also Zoom calls every Monday evenings at 5 p.m. Just talking about the markets, getting insight from different perspectives, different views and opinions that we could possibly implement in our own trading. Me even, right? I don't promote myself as a forex guru or anything of the sort. I'm still learning. There's always something new to learn. There's always ways and areas you can improve yourself, and I'm up for that. So hopefully you are too. All right, guys. So thank you. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Feel free to subscribe if it's your first time viewing, and look at the later content that I did post on the channel. And yes, see you for this trading week. Peace.